Hi, welcome into Yoga with Shaped with Kate. Today we're going to be working on arm balances, but wrist friendly, so we're not going to get on the wrist at all today. For those who kind of want to still do arm balances, but there's never really a modification in your yoga practice. So today we're going to start on our backs. Just starting to open up the hips. So why don't you just hug those legs into your chest, either wrapping your forearms around the shins or even wrapping the hands around the knees. You can rock side to side, gently massage that spine into the earth. You can close your eyes while we're at it here, starting to deepen your breath. Good. If you haven't already, let's bring the palms to the knees and let's just rotate them in circles going the opposite direction. Once you found 2 to 3 rotations, go ahead and switch the other way. Good, beautiful. Go ahead and lengthen your arms out into a T position. Bring the knees into a reverse tabletop. And go ahead and just drop the knees over to the right side. Take a nice gentle twist. If you want to take this twist further, that gaze comes over to the left hand. Inhale back through center. Exhale over to the other side. Good. Keep going with this flow. Let's just do 1 or 2 more times on each side. Once you come back to center, let's come into a happy baby pose. So if you're not quite warm and you have long pants, you could catch hold of your pants or your ankles, flex the feet, and hug the knees towards the ground. If you are feeling warm, those hands can come on the outer edges of your feet or your big toe. Rock side to side. Good, go ahead and release the legs down. Let's go ahead and plant the palms down by our side. Roll the shoulders back. And go ahead and inhale, lift the tailbone off the ground. Let's find our bridge pose. If you don't need those palms on the ground, go ahead and reach them up to the sky. Good, and if it feels nice to, bring it to an upper body stretch. Reach the hands behind you. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, drive the elbows down, find cactus arms, and lengthen them down by your side. Good, let's do that again. Inhale, sweep the arms to the sky. Continue this inhale above your head. Exhale, drive the elbows down into cactus arms. Lengthen the arms down by your side. Lower the tailbone down. And you can drop the thighs into the chest. Good, next let's find our reverse tabletop. So let's plant the hands into our imaginary mat. You could point or flex the toes, depending what you typically do for tabletop, if you have been doing it. From here, we're going to find our bird dogs, but since we're on our back, they turn into dead bugs. So reach the right arm back, left arm forward. Bring it back to center. Switch to the other side. Left arm extends, right leg extends. Be mindful of the limbs staying still. Sometimes when we drop the limbs together, these two limbs fall forward and back. Try to keep them in that tabletop position. Good, find your own flow here. Let's find 1 or 2 more on each side. And then drop the knees into your chest. You can come back to this hold we did at the beginning, or maybe a happy baby pose. So if you haven't already, I want you to be thinking about your theme and purpose for your yoga today. Maybe it's just to add in some movement for your day. Maybe be mindful. Or maybe just finding a few new poses for those who want to be off their wrists. Good, go ahead and release that happy baby. Good, now let's come up to a seated position. So you could either do a gentle sit-up, especially if you want to avoid coming onto those wrists, or you can roll off to the side and come up. Let's find a butterfly pose. Soles of the feet come together, lengthen the spine, hinge at your waist, and then find a forward fold over your hips. Maybe even the top of your forehead touches your toes. Use that inhale to exhale to find movement in the body. So send that inhale along the back of your spine, towards your neck and to your head. Exhale to hinge at the waist deeper. Next, inhale, gently roll back up to your upright position. And we're going to take our seated cat-cows here. So we're going to place the palms on the knees, just for a little support and balance. On our inhale, roll the shoulders back, puff up your chest nice and tall. Maybe even lift the chin too. And exhale, round at the spine and lean back. So the hands can kind of help support us so we don't fall over. Inhale, press the chest through. Maybe even this time you hinge more at the waist, finding that cow pose. Exhale to cat. Good, if you want us to take this in a different direction, once we find cat pose again, let's shoot our shoulders over to the right knee. Puff up your chest towards that right knee, and then bring it through center. Extend the right arm as you come to the left side, and then round it again, finding cat. Good. Just circling through our hips, working through our spine. After those 2 to 3 rotations, switch the other direction. Good, then come back to center on your inhale. When you're ready, let's lengthen the legs out. Let's open up the back side of our leg. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, hinge at the waist, reach forward, and find your forward fold. First forward fold of the day. So you could bend your knees generously. Good. You could just take a half lift too for this first pose. Anything that feels nice here for that forward fold. For more activation, flex the feet. Try to pull the tops of the feet to the shins. bring that mindfulness to your body. So on your inhale, starting at that tailbone, inhale, send your breath up your spine to the crown of your head. Reach the crown of the head forward. Exhale, let the belly sink towards your thighs. Hinge at your waist. That exhale is lengthening your hamstrings. Good, and release. Good. Our next pose, we're going to find our seated boat pose. So let's bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the floor, extend the arms, lengthen the spine, and lean back. Breathe here. Maybe you lift up the shins so they're parallel to the earth. Good, and then maybe for just a half breath or two, you find that full boat pose. Good, if you're at that full boat pose, bring it down. Good, release into a butterfly pose. And now just to open up the shoulders a little bit more, we're gonna find our cow facing arms. So let's reach the right arm up to the sky, wrap the left arm around our lower spine, and try to reach for that right shoulder blade. Reach the right fingertips down. On your inhale, lengthen the elbows. And exhale, hug the shoulders in. So that little hug can help you reach the fingertips a little further. But in this pose, though, you don't necessarily need to touch. Really, you want to be about a palm's length away from your fingertips if you're trying to achieve that upper back flexibility. Good. Go ahead and extend the arms. Switch sides, so reach the left arm up to the sky. Right arm wraps around the lower spine. That back hand crawls up towards the left shoulder blade. And then reach the top fingertips down. Inhale to pull the elbows apart. Exhale, hug the shoulders in. Beautiful. All right, let's do a little repetition here. So I want you to extend the arms, switch sides, bend both arms, come back into that cow face arms, hug in the shoulders, good, and extend. So even here, if you didn't want to use the fingertips, you could find little fists. We're just going to rotate through these two movements. Yeah, let's find one more on each side. And then we'll come into our arm balances. So for your arm balances, depending on your wrist mobility, you can grab a prop for your hands. I'm going to use a block. If it's a cork block though, so if that's kind of too heavy for you, you could also grab a pillow. So you can just place it down on your side. For those who have blocks, you could bring 2 blocks too. And then gently roll back down onto your spine, hug your knees into your chest. And let the feet fall down onto your mat. Go ahead and press your hands up to the sky with your prop on your hands, for those using a prop. This just can kind of help you act like you're actually pressing on the earth. And it can add a little weight to the body, just to kind of act as if we were actually on our hands for those arm balances pose. So for this first one, we're going to find a supine crow pose. So from here, you're going to find your chaturanga arms. So find them at about a 90 degree. And then bring the knees in and try to hike them up to your armpits. As you're doing so, you're hugging in the core and you're almost lifting your tailbone off the ground. Another option here is to gently tuck the chin and lift the head off the ground, keeping the gaze forward, just to sort of intensify that little core activation. Good. Go ahead and release. You can set your props down to the side. Good. Go ahead and imagine what you just did in your mind. Think about that practice. So let's grab those props in our hands. Reach them up to the sky. Good. Let's bring the knees into our chest, and we're going to try to stack them here. Good. Then we're going to twist off to the side. So kind of more of an intense crunch here, kind of like a windshield wiper. And then we're going to bend the arms in our chaturanga arms, hooking this right elbow towards the left knee. If you wanted to, you could stay here. If you wanted to add extra core movement, you could attach the left elbow to the left thigh. Good, nice core yoga pose here. Go ahead and release. Good. Another option is to place something down on your side, like a block or even a pillow, if you wanted to take out more of that core activation. Good. So let's actually try that one more time. For those who do want to try that modification. So you can drop one of your blocks, or you can even drop your bolster or pillow on the ground. Hands press into that imaginary earth. Knees are stacked on top of each other. Find your chaturanga arms. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift the chest. Try to touch both elbows or even triceps to the leg. And bring your gaze over to the right. So when you're in that side crow, usually your left ear is towards the ground. Good. Exhale to release. Hug the knees in. And let's move on to the other side. This first side crow we're doing, let's try it without that prop just to kind of test it out. Sometimes when I show a modification, people tend to go to that modification even though they don't really need it. So that's why sometimes I'll show you a pose and then a modification. So press your hands into the sky. Good. Bring your knees together like you're stacking them on top. Shift them over to the left. Find your chaturanga arms. Lift up the chest. Try to attach both elbows here to your legs. Gaze comes over to the left. Keep breathing in this pose. Keep hugging in that core. Good. Good, and release. For those maybe wanting to try that next modification, if you only have one prop, let's just drop that to the side for our knees. Press your hands into the sky. Drop your knees over to the left this time. Find your chaturanga arms. And lift the chest, lift those shoulder blades off the ground, connect the two elbows. Good. Think about your palms pressing into the ground. And look over to the left. Ears facing the sky. When you are in this side crow though, your gaze still can be in line with your hands. It's just so that neck isn't in line with your spine. Good, go ahead and release. Hug in the knees, maybe even tuck in the chin if that feels nice. Exhale, lengthen out the legs and arms down by your side. We're done with those yoga props today, so you can toss those off to the side, sort of just clean up our mat before we head into our short little Savasana here. So roll the shoulders back and down. Let the toes fall heavy, arms fall down by your side. And breathe. As you've stayed in this traditional Savasana pose, if there's any modifications that are calling your name, you can go ahead and take those. Especially lots of love to those wrists if maybe today they're hurting or you just find a lot of pain when you're on those wrists in tabletops, downward facing dog, and arm balances. Inhale to puff up the chest, fill the rib cage, fill the lungs. Stop your inhale and exhale, release out your nose or mouth. Good, 2 more times. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. I leave you here in Savasana. Go ahead and start to adjust your movements. Release from your stillness. You're going to find about 3 breaths here on the ground, either on your spine or you can take a fetal position. Good, then when you're ready, come up into any seated pose, bringing the palms together. And just bowing your head slightly forward. Thank you for practicing today, for moving the body, for finding new variations for those arm balances. Good. Thank you for practicing with me today. If you like this video or have any questions, leave a comment below and subscribe for more videos. Namaste.